Hi guys, coming live, well we're not really live, but coming live from our daughter's princess teepee bed.
This is a carriage bed.
Carriage bed, my apologies. God, what do these guys know anyways? Adrenal glands, really big deal. Every single parent needs to know about this, because if your kid is flipping out, if they're super crabby, if they get upset for seemingly no reason and they're just hormonal and reactive, adrenal glands, you need to think about this. Now,
Tantrums?
tantrums, yes.
All tantrums?
Quite a few tantrums.
Okay.
And you know, with all of these things, there's a big difference, and this is why I wanted Linda to be sharing with you, because you know, kids, especially the first years of life, have little mini tantrums. You know, the 3-year-old, 4-year-old being a little emotional, you know, they don't get what they want, they get upset for a minute, expected. You know, the kid having a little reaction, expected. There's a difference between that and the kid that is melting down, losing their mind over nothing all the time. And one of the things that has happened is obviously doing what I do and having all the tools and resources I have. You know, my daughter is one of my primary guinea pigs, as much as she probably doesn't want to hear that. But, you know, she is someone that I'm watching, obviously, on a daily basis. And we've got this little adrenal mix, not that you guys can really see it because it's so small. But we have these mixtures that we do. And what have you seen in her? So what are the cases before and after? Like, what did you see as a mom?
Our daughter, I mean, the way that it would be, especially, you know how like when your kids go through like a growth spurt, you know, you see certain things happen before they actually sprout. And one thing with our daughter is she'd get really tired. She'd get those rings under her eyes.
Dark circles.
Dark circles under her eyes. She'd be really tired, and I guess that's an adrenal issue too, like being tired, and then super cranky, and then just the tantrums that, I mean, you know, some kids, like, they're tired, they played too hard, whatever, you know, they have a little tantrum, it's fine. But these would be like half an hour, 40, like it got to the point that she had a 45-minute, I tried whatever I could, like, you know, just talking to her, it's okay, even bribing with snacks, like anything, and it wasn't working. And it just got to the point that I came in and he had said, look, she's going through a growth spurt, she needs some support for her adrenals. And I'm like, no, she's fine, just leave her alone, it's part of the process, like, this is the human body. And as
stop making our daughter a guinea pig. Well,
yes, but I mean, a lot of it, yes, yeah, dude, yeah. But you know, the problem was, like, she wasn't moving out of it. You know, a few days went by, a week went by, and she wasn't her full self, you know. And after a couple days, I mean, just a couple drops of this stuff for a few days, and literally after 2 days, everything was fine. And you know, part of me was like, well, you know, maybe her body just kind of grew out of her growth spurt, and she finally grew, and everything's fine. But you know, I'll tell you, like, it became this cyclical thing. And you know, it's not like this stuff is like this harsh drug, whatever. You're sort of just giving a little support to something that was just tired and overworked and needed to just kind of, you know, make sure there's a shoulder to lean on, I guess. Like, that's how I look at it.
But, you know, here's the thing, guys. So first of all, how do you know if this is the case? Your kid wakes up crabby in the mornings, even though they've had a good night's sleep. After 4 or 5 years of age, in the afternoons, they still need to take a nap. Or they suddenly, your active kid is kind of quiet, and then all of a sudden, what actually happens is this converse, almost second wind, where a lot of the kids have a hard time winding down. So it's like they almost get a shot of coffee in the afternoons, and they're just, you know, and it's like 9 o'clock, you know, go to sleep, and they're like, that's actually their dream. And there's probably some of you adults that are like, actually, no, that's me.
I'm like, can we do this?
Forget about trying to supplement her. I've given up. Like, my daughter, like, this one, anyway. So here's the thing. We think that kids just go through these developmental surges, which they do. I'm not questioning that. We also forget that kids grow in spurts. There's no linear thing. If you talk to any pediatrician or you parents, I'm sure you see like your kid is stable, and then all of a sudden they eat, and then they sleep, and then boom, like they stretch.
Okay.
What drives that growth? Where does that growth come from? The hormones. What is the primary producer of hormones in kids? One of the organs are the adrenal glands. Kids use the adrenal glands for cortisol, and they also use it for DHEA, which is what gets converted to estrogen and testosterone. Those are the two hormones that also help drive growth. So when a child is preparing for a growth phase and their adrenal glands are not up to snuff, and in the case of our daughter, her adrenal glands are a little bit more sensitive, the body starts getting taxed out, and the body's like, hey, we got to pump out these hormones. Guess what happens? The kid's nervous system gets jacked up. That's why for adults, when we say there's adrenal fatigue, which is not exactly what kids have, because they actually get an adrenal overtaxation because of growth demand. So it's a little bit of a different thing, but a similar phenomenon. In adults, what do we say? People who have adrenal fatigue are tired but wired, right? When you look at kids who are tantruming, when you look at kids who are having these issues, when you look at them, they're tired but wired. They're tired but reactive. And you see it. You see dark circles under their eyes. If you look really, really carefully, sometimes you'll actually see their eyes turn red, which is actually the histamine response from their nervous system that's getting jacked up. The white of the eyes. The white of the eyes. If you look really carefully, especially when they're getting agitated, you'll see their eyes turn red. The other thing is sometimes you'll actually see their nose start running, especially when they're getting upset. Those are all histamine responses. What does the body use to jack up the nervous system to get things to happen? It uses histamine. So there's a very interesting pattern that is very obvious. When you know how to look for it, it's very obvious. It is tired in the mornings, crabby, irritable in the mornings. So they don't just get out of bed and they're happy, but they take a while to get up, or they're crabby in the mornings when they get up. Afternoons, they either start having tantrums or they slow down and get tired, and then all of a sudden, zing! And on top of that, they're agitated, they're more easily irritable, they're more easily reactive. Everything gets under their skin. Everything causes this big...
Okay, seriously, I need this stuff. Seriously, I need this stuff.
We'll see if that actually happens. But the coolest part, and this is our mixture. We sell it in our store. At holistickids.com, but you guys can find this stuff anywhere. You don't need to buy my stuff. If you go do a search for Ribes Nigrum, Ribes Nigrum gemotherapy, there's a bunch of stuff online that you can use, and it is staggering. And this is why I wanted Linda to share with you. I mean, we've seen this, I don't know how many times, 20 times, 30 times when we've given her this, and then 2 or 3 days later, all of a sudden the crabby kid is no longer, like, it's not a one-time thing. And I've seen this in probably 1,000 kids in the practice. Like, I've been doing this for, I don't know, 8 years, and the parents are all like, holy cow, like, what is this magic potion you gave my kid? And this is not a magic potion. These are plants that have very important physiological effects. And the coolest part is their safety profile is so absurdly high that you would have to be really negligent and stupid to actually do something to cause harm. At the doses that are generally...
Which is why I'm cool with giving this to
why she's finally allowed me to actually get our daughter to be a guinea pig, even though I've only treated, a few thousand kids, but I finally have permission to actually treat my own daughter. So, guys, this stuff is right underneath our noses. We see this every day. Every parent has probably faced this at least once. If you have 2 kids, one of your 2 kids at some point have probably had this. And if we know how to recognize these things, if we know how to address them, and we say, oh, that's an adrenal issue, let me get some black currant, get our stuff, whatever. Treat it, and it will blow your mind away in terms of how quickly kids respond and how much better and happier they will be as a result.
And you.
And you. Your life becomes just a little bit easier. Thanks for watching. It's Dr. K. My beautiful wife, Linda.
Love you.
Ciao.